All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, back to bring you more news and commentary you can use. So, listen, I want to say thank you all so much for continuing to support the channel. Also, thank you all so much for your well wishes. As you all know, I'm participating in a very big production this weekend. I am singing background, and it's so exciting. Well, you probably don't know, but music and singing is my passion. I've been singing ever since I was a young girl in the church choir along with my mother, and so it's something that just has been a part of my life forever. Okay, so I'm very excited. Listen, I have a break before our first show of today. Today is Sunday, January 15th. I have a break before the show starts, so I wanted to come on and talk about a story in the news. Maybe you've heard of it, but a story that has me very concerned. And so, according to CNBC, the U.S. will hit its debt limit on Thursday, and according to the article, um, the U.S. will start taking steps to avoid default. Okay, is the U.S. running out of money? Are we not able to meet our debt obligations? What's really going on now? The reason why this concerns me. Oh, and by the way, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. I'll talk more about her in just a moment. But she's actually warning Congress what is going on. We're going to talk about that. But the reason why it concerns me is because here we are. We're sending money overseas. We've talked about here on the channel how we have been sending so many billions of dollars to Ukraine. And I'm not saying that I don't believe that countries should receive help from other countries in times of, disaster or when there's assistance needed. But I just feel like there needs to be some type of, some form of greater accountability when it does come to sending money to Ukraine. What is the money being used for? What's really going on? I've talked about this in previous videos, but it's very concerning. So let me give you all some details. Excuse me, you all, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, according to CNBC, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Friday, just this past Friday, notified Congress that the U.S. will reach its statutory debt limit next Thursday. Okay, after that, the Treasury Department this month will begin, and I quote, taking certain extraordinary measures to prevent the United States from defaulting on its obligations. Y'all hear this? That's what our Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wrote in a letter to new House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican out of California. Okay, the Treasury, and I quote, is not currently able to estimate how long those emergency actions will allow the U.S. to pay for government obligations, she wrote. Y'all hear this? But, okay, here's another quote. It is unlikely. Listen, y'all. She said, but it is unlikely, and I quote, it is unlikely that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted before early June. Okay, we're talking about June 2023, y'all. She warned House Speaker McCarthy that it is, and I quote, critical that Congress act in a timely manner to increase or suspend the debt limit. Failure to meet the government's obligations, she said, would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy, the livelihoods of all Americans, and global financial stability. Now think about that for a minute, y'all. This is very concerning, isn't it? Okay. She also says, I respectfully, and I quote, I respectfully urge Congress to act promptly to protect the full faith and credit of the United States. Okay. A spokeswoman for McCarthy had no immediate comment on Yellen's letter. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters later Friday, and I quote, Congress is going to need to raise the debt limit without condition. There has been a lot of criticism how our Congress is spending so much money on different things. Sometimes they have even with this recent bill, right? With this recent spending bill, so like I think it was over 4,100 pages long I read. Who actually took the time to read all of that, right? I'm gonna get my water. It's back here somewhere, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. I need something to drink. Who's taking time to read all of this? Are they just putting something together in all these different acts and pieces of legislation and passing them without there really being some, checks done on them. It's just very concerning. What's really going on here? Why is it that, it seems that our government is spending millions, billions, some even, may say trillions of dollars, excuse me, y'all. Please make sure that you're drinking water. And I'm going to go ahead and say, y'all, please make sure that not only are you drinking water, right, but that you're adding water to your emergency food supply as well as your survival needs. I can't say that enough, y'all. Water is very, very important. But back to the topic, right? How is it now that, our lawmakers, our elected officials are putting together these acts and bills and passing them, right, voting on them, and there's so many thousands, 4,100 pages long, and they're not taking time to read it and actually see what's in it? You'll be surprised. Now, I'm not telling you to read all 4,100 pages, but if you skim, you kind of look through it, pick and choose what you want to read, you'll find out that, wow, why are we spending millions of dollars on this? Or why is that going towards this? Couldn't that money be used here for the American people or put to better use? Check it out, y'all. Okay. Okay, Jean-Pierre, White House press secretary, she also went on to say this, and I quote, "It is one of the basic items that Congress has to deal with, and that should be done without conditions. So there's going to be no negotiation over it," she said. Okay, this is something that must get done. Okay, Yellen's letter effectively starts a clock counting down how long the federal government can continue to make interest payments on its debt. Okay, Congress in December 2021, the article says, increased the federal debt limit to about $31.4 trillion. Y'all, I'm going to say it again. Congress in December 2021 increased the federal debt limit to about $31.4 trillion, y'all. Think about that, okay? It seems like, I don't know, y'all, it seems like the solution is just keep spending more money. What do you all think about that? The limit, okay, the article explains that the limit is the total amount of money the U.S. government is allowed legally to borrow to pay for its existing obligations. Those obligations include Social Security, Medicare benefits, military salaries, interest on the national debt, tax refunds, and other payments. Okay, y'all, tax time is coming up soon, right? In a couple of weeks. All right. The so-called extraordinary measures available to the Treasury Secretary free up the government's borrowing capacity. Okay, this can extend the clock for weeks or months while Congress hashes out a bill to raise the borrowing limit. Okay, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York, in a joint statement, said, and I quote, "Congress must act on legislation to prevent a disastrous default, meet our obligations, and protect the full faith and credit of the United States." Okay, listen to this, y'all. A default forced by MAGA Republicans. Now, haven't we heard this mentioned in this way before? Listen, y'all. A default, this is a quote, right, from the leaders who said in the statement, and I quote, "A default forced by extreme MAGA Republicans." Okay, are they blaming Republicans who support former President Donald Trump? And I quote, "A default forced by extreme MAGA Republicans could plunge the country into a deep recession," which many would already argue that we're there, right? They said it would plunge the country into a deep recession and lead to even higher costs for America's working families on everything from mortgages and car loans to credit card interest rates, the leader said in their statement. What do y'all think about that statement? Yellen also wrote that the two extraordinary measures that Treasury expects to implement are redeeming existing and suspending new investments of the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund and the Postal Service Retiree Health Benefits Fund, and suspending reinvestments of the Government Securities Investment Fund of the Federal Employees Retirement System Thrift Savings Plan. Okay. She also noted that Congress previously authorized the Treasury to use such measures, which the department has employed in the past. She also wrote that after the debt limit impasse has ended, those funds, and I quote, "will be made whole." Okay. You all let me know. The article, goes on to talk about, several different statements by lawmakers. It also says, in conclusion, a default on Treasury bonds. Okay. A default on Treasury bonds could throw the U.S. economy into a tailspin As bad as the Great Recession, the article says, the research firm Moody's Analytics warned in a September 2021 report. At the time, Moody's also projected a 4% decline in gross domestic product and the loss of nearly 6 million jobs if the U.S. defaulted. Okay, in her letter to McCarthy on Friday, Yellen wrote, "Indeed," and I quote, "Indeed, in the past, even threats that the U.S. government might fail to meet its obligations have caused real harm, including the only credit rating downgrade in the history of our nation in 2011. This is what they're saying, y'all. Yellen also added, and this is the last paragraph, and I quote, "Increasing or suspending the debt limit does not authorize new spending commitments or cost taxpayers money. It simply allows the government to finance existing legal obligations that Congress and presidents of both parties have made in the past." Okay, y'all, very concerning article. What's really going on? What do you feel like is the true solution to stop so much, some people would say frivolous spending, unnecessary spending, and if we are spending money, put it towards where it would actually be to the benefit, the true benefit of the American people, if that is something that is even possible. This is a story that I'm going to follow. Very important story. It looks like the deadline is this coming up week, so I'm definitely going to stay tuned with it. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. What is the real solution to prevent situations like this from occurring? What does the United States need to do? What do our lawmakers need to do? Let me know your thoughts and opinion. It's very concerning. And again, like I said, y'all, I'm going to keep up with this story, okay? You all be blessed. Enjoy your Sunday. I have a total of 2 shows today. And then that will be it for this current production. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I look forward to what's to come, and I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much for your support right here on Andrea Speaks TV.